Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dolly, can you do roll call, please?
Supervisor Flaherty?
Here.
Councilman Abbott?
Here.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Present.
Councilwoman Wynn?
Here.
Okay, before we have something that is not on the agenda. I promise it'll only take a couple of minutes, but I have a proclamation that I'm going to read from the dais here, no reason to go over. I had the pleasure today, I was invited, I think yesterday or Tuesday, to Ruth Hilfiger's 102nd birthday party. And Kim Doyle in my office and myself went over at 1 o'clock to, is it the Marquee? Is next to the highway garage, kind of? And let me tell you something, Ruth Hilfiger packs them in, because there had to be 45 or 50 people in the party room. And this lady doesn't look a day over 75. 102. So I said to Ruth, we brought her actually some flowers, because Kim is very, mindful of those type of things. Me, I'm still working on that stuff. But we told everybody in attendance, most of them live at the Marquee, turn on 1303 tonight cable, or if you have somebody at the place that knows how to do Facebook Live or YouTube, because, and I'm going to read this proclamation. This is a proclamation recognizing the 102nd birthday of Ruth Hilfiger. Whereas longevity of life is a blessing for an individual and for the community, which benefits from the knowledge, creativity, and experience this individual brings to all. And whereas Ruth Hilfiger was born in Boston on September 1st, 1920, and is a descendant of William Brewster, who came over on the Mayflower. And whereas Ruth met her husband Eldon in August of 1942 while he was in the Navy, and he proposed 10 days later. And whereas Ruth and Eldon settled in Penfield, where Ruth worked for the Penfield School District for 20 plus years, Ruth's beloved Elton passed away at the age of 97. They were married for 75 years. And whereas Ruth moved back to Webster 5 years ago and has been living in the Marquee in the Woods, she is busy with all her activities and is making many wonderful memories. And whereas Ruth and Eldon had 2 children, Bob, who lives in Brighton, and Diane, who resides in Webster, she has many friends and is loved by all who meet her. Ruth has that unique way of brightening someone's day by a kind word or interaction. Now, therefore, it be resolved that on the occasion of her 102nd birthday, the supervisor of the town of Webster, on behalf of the Webster Town Board and the entire Webster community, extend our sincerest wishes to Ruth and hereby proclaim Thursday, September 1st, 2022 as Ruth Hilfiger Day.
And Happy birthday, Ruth.
Yes, and we are going to be bringing this over to her, because Kim and I struggled with this, because usually, when we do these, the day that is the day for the organization of the person is the next day.
Right.
And we're like, well, wait a minute, today's her birthday. We got to, so anyway, we adapted.
Fantastic.
And she was very happy. So, thank you for patronizing me. It was not on the agenda, but I think it was important enough. And if you ever get a chance to get over the Marquee and meet Ruth, it'll make your day. She's pretty amazing. So, with that being done, this is the part of the meeting where anybody in attendance who would like to take the podium for no more than 5 minutes to speak about anything. And if there are multiple people that want to do that, we go in the order of who signed in first. Did you sign in? Ah. Well, you're jumping up there then, Dave. Dave is up. I think, unless Les is speaking tonight.
Mike Rice.
Yeah. All right.
Good evening. I'm Dave Jenkins. I'm speaking again about the EMS service in Webster. There have been a few developments since my last presentation. And by the way, I'm not sure why the ambulance issue was such important to me. I was gonna just drop it about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and the guy in the middle there poked me. Never poke a bear.
That is not.
Never mind, see, he always lies.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, so I had a conversation with Ginny. Ginny Contestable is a friend of mine. She's on the Democratic Webster Committee. I'm also part of some of that. Anyhow, and a few friends of mine. We all believe that quality EMS as a service in Webster is a necessity. But all had different ideas and questions as to what quality means. Not everyone knew there's an ongoing issue. Some people did hear that West Webster Fire Department stopped their ambulance service. And I don't know about Webster proper. Anyhow, so all want some sort of approval possible of any new ambulance service and the financing needed. I believe at the moment Webster has an agreement with NEQELS, which is the Northeast Quadrant Advanced Life Support. That's what it stands for. $50,000 in town monies and another $255,000 of emergency fund. This was for 2022 only, correct, Tom?
Correct.
Okay, so Tom wanted me to add that. The contract calls for NEQELS to be the first company called as a result of a 911 emergency. And again, it says, I hope I paraphrase this correctly, and I asked Tom for his assistance. This agreement gives Webster time to do the due diligence necessary. We have time to see what has been done and decide if we have to reinvent the wheel. Tom has requested copies of the EMS agreements from the other towns in Monroe County. Tom has also scoped out where ambulance service could be conveniently housed in Webster, both sides of town and spaced appropriately. Tom also sees an opportunity, if needed, to ask for bids and presentations from other ambulance companies, or not. This seems to be a new business opportunity. Please leave room, that's supposed to be please, not plus. Please leave room for adjustments as time moves on. Again, I have paraphrased that. I cut that from, I have been working on that for a while. Okay, Tom has also been looking at communication, education, and possible voter participation. Many pros and cons there. If you talk to Tom, he goes through a list of things he did for other issues, and it's, again, we'll see. I personally, I still believe a postcard issued to each voter, registered voter in the district is a way to go. You can't put it on the election, that the time for November 6th election is passed, to add anything new to that. An election, a town-wide election might not work. There are reasons. Tom and I talked at length on this the other day. But to me, this is maybe the reason why I come up here. I think it's a good way to do it. Did everybody get their Gannett mailer this week? I got a Gannett mailer. I put it right in the recycle box. But what it is, you open it up, you read it. I always read it and make sure I've turned, So anyhow, it says if you have someone that needs assistance, you have to say yes. And you have to put their name down, then you detach the card, fold it so that it's safe, it's glued, and it's mailed for free. It says on the back side, if mailed within the United States, this is free. I think we could use something similar for Webster so that I don't know what your return would be on the postcards, but at least everybody would know what's going on. You could also use the Webster One system. That's the school system. I received that the other day, and I go, this might work, because I always read it, and I especially read the adult education sections. Mine came in 2 different pieces, and I had to put it together. Again, it doesn't matter. Okay. I know that the town council could just approve many or all of the above steps, but as much resident participation would go a long way in ensuring that our town board is capable of handling all issues raised. Webster has elected you, narrow the choices down to 2 or 3 scenarios, define and codify these ideas. Then include the residents as much as reasonable in this large change of the business of residing in Webster. Again, people need to know what happens during an emergency. There's a sense of security there. And if we tell them, the more information we give them, the better. They might not like it, but at least it's done. One other thing, I'm ready to help. My friend Ginny is ready to help. Butch and Jen, talk to them, they're ready to help. Mike M., he's one of my friends from Xerox, Don't have his permission to speak his name, so that's just Mike M. He's ready to help. We'll do things like word of mouth is huge, neighborhood meetings, whatever you guys need. We'll even do the grunt work. If you need someone help counting votes, if you decide to go that way, we'll help count votes. All above board. We all see the need. We all care to help. And I'm going to be back. Just so you guys know, I'll be back here in another month. We're not allowed questions. I asked Tom about that before. So if people want to talk to me afterwards, Tom knows how to get a hold of me. Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody.
Dave. And I just had to change something on my notes here and before. I think the only other speaker is Ahmed, who is the chairman of the board and president of, or CEO of NEQUELS. I'm a numbers stats guy, so Dave gave the town board his notes. My name, Tom, is written 4 times on this document, and you spoke my name 10 times overall. I'm learning this political thing, I'll tell you that. So Dave and I ran into each other at my favorite coffee shop that I go to. I see your daughter there. And Dave came over, I think this was Monday or Tuesday, and started talking to me. And I'm going to be honest with you, Dave. I'm going to really think about that in the future if all of a sudden my name is strewn all over this document and there's some things up there that were said that are not accurate to what I said to you. So, and I know you're a good guy. I know that. But if we're going to have you come up in a month and talk, then you and I aren't talking the next month. You need to reference things up there from somebody else, because I have concerns that when my name is said and people are watching this tape, that there are some things that were not exactly accurate. And I know you didn't do that on purpose. I know you didn't, but I just want, for the record, I think it was important for that to be said. And I can't stress this enough. Dave Jenkins is a good man. And I am a very verbose person who tends to be a little too congenial, and I'm minding my own business at a coffee shop, and Dave, you come up, and I would, you know, and so we talk. I'm going to have to think about that, because I got to remember now I'm a town supervisor, and talks like that might all of a sudden have somebody at a podium that are saying things that are out of context or not exactly accurate. And like I said, I know it wasn't intentional. It's a sensitive and emotional enough conversation. I don't need unintentional kerosene thrown on a fire. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not, we'll talk, I don't know if to talk later. Ahmed, why don't you come up now, okay? Because I'll bet you're going to talk about ice cream and hamburgers. Or would you maybe want to talk about EMS in
Maybe
Webster?
I wish Mrs. Hilfiger a happy 102 birthday.
Good.
No, so good evening, Supervisor Flaherty and town board members. Thanks for allowing me a few minutes to address the recent discussion about why EMS in Webster needs financial support. As some of you may know, when NEQ was formed, all its funding came from the towns of Webster, Penfield, and Ontario. Over time, as we started building insurance companies, we received less money from Webster to a level where we are now 1/3 of what we initially received. What no one knew at the time was that volunteers in EMS were going away, the hospital was going to stop providing us medicines, and that we'd eventually be starting an ambulance to ensure the town of Webster had a community-based ambulance for the future. The concept of a tax-supported EMS system in Webster has been presented as much as 20 years ago with no action yet. Without going into a tremendous amount of detail in my limited time, the challenge we face is that the income from billing insurance companies is unpredictable. At the start of the year, people who have not met deductibles have the full burden of all medical bills and sometimes keep the insurance checks or pay over time. This is the same situation as we approach November and December, where people keep insurance checks and we have to chase them to send us the funds that are meant for us. With recent changes to legislation, there are new restrictions regarding what collection steps can be taken and when, further delaying our receipt of those funds. This is not a Webster problem, as we know. EMS agencies throughout New York and the U.S. are suffering financially because we're relying on outdated financial models to sustain these vital services. The town board has acknowledged the value of NEQALS and Webster EMS that we bring to the town and have committed to helping us survive into the future. And for that, I, the NEQ board, and our staff are grateful. The reason to speak tonight, Supervisor Flaherty, is because I've heard several people speak at meetings and on social media questioning why EMS needs help. I have reached out to several, and to date, not one has accepted my offer to meet and address their questions. There are no secrets, and I'm here tonight to publicly state, if you have questions, please contact me and let me answer them. We have a form on our website where you can email us questions or ask for me to call you. Our website is neqals.org. Again, it's NEQ as in Quebec, ALS, Alpha Lima Sierra.org. If you have groups or neighborhoods that would like to talk, I'll be happy to come speak. Again, I'm asking anyone with questions, ideas, or if you have any donations, to contact us at neqals.org. Please don't wonder why we need the help we are asking for. I'll answer whatever questions I can for you so you can better understand how we operate and why we are asking for financial support from the community. Thank you, Supervisor Flaherty and the Town Board.
Thanks, Ahmed. Okay. Well, next up, we have two sets of minutes, and I have reviewed the August 11th workshop minutes and make a motion that we approve them.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilwoman Nguyen?
Aye.
And also the August 18th regular town board meeting. I have read those minutes, and I make a motion we approve those.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilwoman Nguyen?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Abstain, I was absent at that meeting.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Okay, I hope, and I think John, Councilman Cahill didn't do the bills.
He did not, I did.
Thank goodness.
And I reviewed the bills and everything was in order. I would move that we pay them.
Second.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilwoman Nguyen?
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye. Okay, and I also went over the prepaid warrants as submitted by the Director of Finance, Paul Adams, and I make a motion that we approve those.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilwoman Nguyen?
Aye.
All right, Paul, I'm gonna let you give a little color to this next one, but if I can just give 30 seconds on it, is that a semantic issue. Some people see it as the preliminary budget, but I guess the technical legal term is the tentative budget, is that correct?
This is the tentative budget.
Okay,
Once it's approved tonight, it becomes the preliminary budget.
there you
Which will
go.
be presented to Dolly, our town clerk.
So I'll just say this, is that this is, well, we started in May, so we're at May, June, July, August. We're about 4 months into what is about a 6-month process that will culminate in early November, most likely, with the final adopted 2023 fiscal/calendar year budget for the town. A lot of work, a lot of meetings. If you follow these board meetings, workshops, you'd know there's a lot that goes into this to get to tonight. A lot of challenges that we face this year, very unique. And I don't want to steal Paul's thunder, but between the town board, which is, I hope people know that all the town board members are liaisons to the 14, 15 departments in town. Pat Stevens, our highway superintendent, is here tonight. Councilman Abbott is the liaison in 2022 to the highway department. Mary Harrington, our town engineer, is here tonight. Well, John Cahill is not here, but he is the, Councilman Cahill is the liaison. So there is so much hours and work and things that go into this to try to get down to a budget that balances being fiscally responsible, which we have, as I'll hand it off to you now, Paul, a New York State tax cap that needs to be considered. And we also had the challenge this year of really inflation that has not been this way since I was 11 years old.
Right.
And I'm kind of old.
Yeah.
So I will hand the baton to you to give more of the color to this.
Yeah, as Tom said, inflation was an issue this year, along with some other costs. Wastewater treatment plant project is moving along, so we actually are planning to borrow for that in January of '23, so the principal and interest payments won't actually hit till '24, but we actually included about $500,000 of a allocation to the sewer capital reserve, which can be used toward that cost. So we're kind of ramping up for that. So as a result, the sewer rent is actually up quite a bit. It's up about 21%, about $40. But on the other side of the coin, the tax rates have been minimized to keep us under the tax cap overall. So as of right now, we are under the cap, and I suspect there may be a few more changes before we finally adopt this budget. But other than that, we're in pretty good shape at this point.
Okay. And I think the town board members is got the different derivations of this when Paul first put together a draft through about a dozen different edits and revisions as we had
Oh, yeah.
cuts and reclasses. The town board members have been privy to all of those, including in the last week to two, this one that we're voting on tonight. So is there any questions or comments by the town board members prior to me making a motion to approve this? I'm
No.
going to say that, okay.
Do you want to share those rates that are in the tentative budget?
Well, Paul, I think you just, did you just give the rate on the sewer and the?
Yeah, the other rates, I can provide those. If you have a village property, the tax rate's currently at $4.98, which is up 10 cents from 2022. But if you own a home outside the village, the proposed tax rate is $5.31, which is actually down about 12 cents from 2022. So basically, we had a shift between those tax rates and the sewer rent, because the sewer rent's up $40.70. So in a nutshell, basically, we used appropriated fund balance in the two part-town funds, the general part-town and the highway part-town, to balance things out. And that actually caused the town outside village rate to drop.
Yep.
So,
Thank you. I think it's important that
Gets
people
complex,
know
but-
those numbers. Thank you.
right, but overall, it's under the cap.
Good news is, I said, we're 4 months into a 6-month process. After tonight, then we'll have, the Webster Today October version has all the line items of the tentative preliminary budget. Be public hearing on the tentative budget as we move toward the final budget. Still so much opportunities for the public to chime in about this or ask questions. So, without any further ado, I make a motion to approve the 2023 tentative budget to be filed with the town clerk.
Second?
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye?
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn?
Aye.
All right. Mary, I think this one's in your purview.
Do you guys want to? Yeah, if you want to come up real
I'm
quick.
sorry, Jen, my good.
I told him to do this, I'll talk and I'll let you do the technical part. How about that? So Jennifer and Mike Wright, 1151 County Line Road. We're here for a fill permit. I don't know
Yes.
what details you need from us, Mary.
Well, I presented the board with the fill permit application. I went to the site to look at the existing conditions. So they're looking to create a slope from the garage they just put on their home to the existing driveway and just feather out some of the low spots in the driveway with millings and some fill dirt on the sides.
I don't really have anything else to add. That's pretty much what we're doing.
Any questions from the board?
No, the process that we have is for Mary to go out and work with the resident and make sure that everything is in compliance with the fill permit within the town. I place great confidence in that, Mary. And
Glad to hear it.
and grateful that you're doing that. So as long as Mary has looked at this and she has approved it, I'm good with it.
Okay. Jenny?
No.
Bill?
No.
All righty, well then I make a motion to, I make a motion to approve a fill permit at 1151 County Line Road.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye?
Councilwoman Wynn?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. You're welcome.
Will we just hear from you when we
Yeah.
might see something show up?
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Good
Thank
luck
you
with the
all.
project.
Good luck.
Is that where they live? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right, well, we'll, all right, next up is, Pat, I don't know if you, or Mary, I mean, I call this the continued measure twice, cut once, parallel plans as we try to really gather a lot of information about the highway facility before we launch.
Yes, so we are looking to do a resolution to solicit proposals for construction management services on the highway facility. We are in parallel researching the performance contracts such as what the sewer plant is under right now, but we would like to still proceed with this resolution as it's likely that we will put out a proposal, a request for proposals for a construction manager in the next short while. So we're discussing design services with an architectural and engineering firm, a couple locally, and then the construction manager would be the value engineering, estimating, project management component to that design process.
Sure. Okay. Any comments, questions? The only comment I have is that proving that people watch or pay attention to our agenda items. I had 3 different people in the last 4 hours reach out to me somewhat saying, what did I miss? How are you already at construction management on the highway garage? Which is kind of interesting. So I did my best to explain that we're what Mary said. With that being said, I make a motion to solicit proposals for the professional service of construction management for the proposed highway facility project.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn?
Aye.
Patty?
The next is a resolution to authorize the town supervisor to sign an intermunicipal agreement with Webster Central School District to allow the district to utilize the unleaded gasoline and diesel fueling facility for its vehicles at 1005 Picture Parkway on emergency occasions. I believe this is something that we do annually, and it's a bit of a housekeeping.
Yes.
So that is my motion, that we
Second.
authorize you.
Yes.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn?
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye. Okay, next is, we're looking at some recycle items from the IT department. So I'm going to make a motion to declare the following items for recycle from the IT department. A Dell Optiplex PC, tag number 05799. A Dell Optiplex PC, tag number 06196. A Dell Optiplex PC, tag number 05794. A Dell Optiplex PC, tag 05783. A Dell Optiplex PC, tag 06024. A Dell Optiplex PC tag 05217, a Dell Optiplex PC tag number 05797, and last but not least, a Dell Optiplex PC tag number 06476. That is my motion.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty,
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi,
Aye.
Councilman Abbott,
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn.
Aye.
You know what's funny is that this IT world, like this laptop I got, 2018, I think it's new. I think that's got to be recycled, doesn't it? 4 years.
Probably.
Wow. Crazy. Okay, and the last formal agenda meeting of the evening, I don't, I wish Charlie was here to answer this. I don't know if I really want to read off.
I don't think you have to.
They've been up on the website for 3 days now. I think they'll continue to be up there because where this is a resolution to declare various items as surplus or transfer to the police department, there is potentially 80 different line items here. So I think if anybody wants to see what they are, they can ask the town clerk for copies, or they can go on the website and see the 80 line item list of these items. What's that?
74.
Was it 74? See, Bill, you know what? I was just trying to round. Maybe I could have read them off by now, right?
No.
No, I couldn't have.
No.
One thing I do want to say, and Chief Kohlmeyer wasn't able to make it tonight, really these are broken down between surplus, no longer in use, and then there's ones that are being transferred to the police department. This is kind of a putting a ribbon around something that I could make the argument that the transfer didn't need to be done because these were being utilized by the special police department. Technically, the special police were under the police department's purview since January of '21. But Chief and I talked about it and said, you know, just to be documented up nicely, we are formally moving those special police assets over to the police department. And when they went through these, there was a lot of things that are just not utilizable. Any questions on that from the town board members?
No, I would just say that in the whole scope of these pages of things that we're surplusing and transferring, there's 22 that fall under that and all the rest.
Yeah, the majority are, they're being,
Like 1993 EBSA.
it was like cleaning a garage.
Yes.
You know, in a lot of ways, and that happens. So, with that being said, I make a motion to declare various items, 52 of them as surplus and 22 transferred to the police department.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty,
Aye.
Councilman Abbott,
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi,
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn.
Aye.
Okay, well, that completes our formal agenda tonight. We'll, I guess, leave the phones open. Do you think anybody will ever call us, Dolly? I don't know. But I know what Dolly's going to say when we get to her tonight. Oh, I know what Dolly's going to say. So we're going to start over. Mary.
Yeah, Sandbar Park is progressing along. They are expecting the granite curbing to get in by mid-January on site and then start installing it. So we should have our 2-lane roadway all the way to the curb line done in time for the bridge opening. So we're on schedule and we're excited to see that progressing along.
Paul.
Yes, Tom? I think this week we decided to move the budget public hearing by 1 week. It was originally scheduled for October 6th. It will now be October 13th at 7:30 p.m., which is actually a town board workshop. The reason for that is because of the timing of the Webster Today publication, which will have the full budget, line-by-line detail, and a few other charts and graphs, which I think will come out by October 1st. Should be in the houses, in the homes by October 2nd or 3rd or 4th, in that range.
I think that's when
Yeah.
it's interesting because just in case the town board members are like, oh my goodness, we're going to have a workshop and the public hearing on the budget that night. No, we won't have any workshop presentations on the 13th. We will solely do the public hearing for the budget. I think that's enough for the night. Bill?
Mary stole my thunder. We've been meeting on the highway garage, trying to work through a few things to get it down to where we think we're comfortable with the design engineer. And we're progressing with it.
Yep.
Hopefully we should have some more information by next week.
Patty?
Just another exciting week as the liaison to the sewer department. I visited yet another sludge dryer yesterday over on the west side of town. I'm becoming very knowledgeable about sludge dryers. More than I ever wanted to know or see.
Just love that term, sludge dryer.
It's pretty cool.
I bet it
Because
is.
what comes out the other end is a Class A biosolid that can be
Yep.
used for fertilizer,
It's
as opposed to hauling it off to our landfills, which are charging us more and more each year, and at some point, probably won't be taking it at all.
Yeah.
So we are going to be ahead of the curve, and we are going to turn our wastewater treatment plant into a water resource recovery facility.
Yes, we are. Jenny?
Well, I hope everyone will enjoy their long weekend, Labor Day weekend. And I would encourage people to come out and support our Webster Library, our museum, and our local farmer market. Have a good night, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So let me guess there as we end with the esteemed, well, I can't call you the town clerk tonight because I probably should call you the collector of
Tax
taxes. right?
receiver.
Tax receiver.
Yes.
So are you going to talk about dog licenses or handicap stickers tonight, or what do we got?
The Webster school tax bills were mailed out yesterday. I believe people started seeing them today.
I got mine.
So,
I got
mine.
again, if any of the residents do not see their bill within a week, please call the tax office, and we will either mail you another copy or send you an email.
Great. Well, that does it for tonight. This meeting is adjourned.